Gonna do an insight video. I haven't done one for quite a while. I've been working a lot on. I've been receiving like transmissions around sort of like consciousness and creation, and I've started to write these down. I've been doing a lot of channeling around sort of like I say, consciousness and creation, and it's all around sort of shifting. And the guys keep telling me about shifting from what they keep saying out there to inner reality or inner sort of like expression, which is where you access source. And they've talked about many times before about like living in source and source expression. And this is all about creation. This is all about knowing that you're a creator and that you create through through your own consciousness, and what you focus on creates your reality. And like I said, I've been doing some like channeling, and I've already started to put together like a book, and I've got like a 70 odd pages of it at the moment, and I'm looking to try and get up near like to 100 pages. There's a lot of shifting, a lot happening around sort of like consciousness, and like I say about integrating it and bringing this consciousness in. They've been talking a lot about like keys of consciousness, and in a sense, what they mean by this is they're talking about like each soul has a vibration, a frequency, and has a key of consciousness, and each soul is sort of like coming down from source reality and bringing this level or this state of consciousness. And each and every one of us, our purpose is to align and awaken to this. And when we do this, it releases a vibration, a frequency that then aligns with the planet. And it helps to like lift and shift the sort of like the frequency of the planet. And each being's doing this at the moment, or has brought this vibration, this frequency. But they're also talking about as each and every one of us being channels, and each and every one of our purpose is to awaken to this channel as a being. And each and every one of us, this is the purpose of why we're here, is to, and this is what the shifting is happening. So like the out there, there's nothing out there, is what they keep saying to me. So like the out there reality is the 3D reality. And even though that the 3D, the fourth dimension, and the fifth dimension are all interconnected because they're all part of oneness, they're not separate. No, the separation is an illusion. And this is what the guides keep saying to me, that they're an illusion, because all of them work like in the now moment. They're all part of oneness. So what they're saying is they're saying shift from the outside. So what they're saying is all creation comes from within, and all creation comes from your source expression and your source frequency. And all beings have this source energy, because all beings are source. We're all sort of like born from source, and we all return to source. And they're saying that within this reality, within this time, and within this age, and they talk about ages, because like when we start talking about like Atlantis, Lemuria, Palladians, Andromeda, and all these other kind of Syrians, they're talking about this is all part of oneness reality. This is part of oneness frequency, and these are all sort of like source expressions in different dimensions. And when we become these open channels, and we move from the outer reality to the inner reality, we like I said, we become these open channels where we can start to integrate these levels of states of consciousness from these different realities, and these beings and these dimensions and these guides that are working with us within this now moment here now, which is oneness. And this is what they've been talking about. But also today is like today is a really, really powerful day of creation, because it's 0808, and then if you put together the 26, that becomes 8 as well. So you've got like 8888, which is a powerful like angel number, but it's a powerful like numerology number. And it's all about abundance. It's all about sort of creation and abundance. And this is why this day today is very powerful in that way. And all things are like I say, like when they like Sarah Langdon talks about the 15 principles, like of like 15 like principles in relation to sort of like consciousness and creation, and like everything is always working for you, through you, and as you. And in this moment now, with this very powerful sort of like frequency that's happening within this day, with now, here now, on this day of 888, it's all about abundance. It's about creation. It's about awakening to source, and it's about like aligning with it and bringing it. And source creation is, it works from you sort of like going within and feeling that vibration, that infinite sort of spaciousness of like energy and consciousness that's there. And in the inner reality, it's infinite space, it's infinite sort of potential is here now within the inner reality. And when you shift from the outer reality, what you realize is what you create within and what you focus within, then it sort of aligns and it sort of shapes and shifts and transmutes outer reality. And this is what source expression and source reality is about. But it's also important that we start sort of like going in and we create this vibration, this frequency. We align with this source vibration, this source creator within us, because this is what allows us then to open up as this open channel to start to integrate consciousness from not just this reality but from many different realities. And this is the oneness shift, this is the oneness frequency. It's was done many times before in, like I said, I talk about Atlantis, Lemuria, these highly evolved spiritual sort of frequencies. They're still here now. They always have been. And this is what they've been saying to me a lot about sort of like the now moment and about oneness. There's no separation. So we think that, we still think, many people still think in terms of past, present, and future, when actually there's only now. There's only this now moment. And this now moment, all things that ever been created, the frequencies of things that ever have been, are always still available. And part of what's happening now in this age is that we're again raising consciousness, raising frequency, raising vibration in this now moment to align again with those vibrational frequencies of these spiritually evolved times. And they're not times, they're ages. And I like to use the word ages because to me ages is again something that's infinite, and age is infinite. It has no beginning, it has no end. And again with this very much this sort of 888, the eight symbol like vertically is like this kind of like abundant symbol, but if it's horizontal, then it becomes the infinity symbol. And this is very symbolic again of what's happening here now. That there's infinite potential, there's infinite vibrations, infinite frequencies here now. Like I said, I've been writing a lot around this. I've been channeling a lot around this, probably for the last 2 months. I've been channeling information, and it's all about sort of like shifting. And I've been trying to integrate this. Well, not trying to. I am integrating this within my reality, within my life now. That that I'm feeling and expressing my source from my center, from my creator in my reality, and I'm seeing, that from what I'm creating in my own energy field and my own energy vibration and frequency, that I'm creating a reality then, and my energy in a sense is vibrating, not separate from the external reality, but it's creating from my own energy field and my own frequency, and then what it's doing is then it's harmonizing and shifting and transforming the outer reality into union of what I'm creating within me. And this is the big sort of shift of what consciousness and creation is happening, and what many of the guides are bringing. I have a guide with me all the time that steps forward on my right side, and this being steps forward, a long white beard, a long white, like long white sort of like those clothes or on, and he's like piercing blue eyes, and he has the universe behind him, and he brings this brown staff. And this being is working with me constantly, and he's bringing universal energy, infinite universal energy from many different dimensions, many different realms. He's working as like aligning us and bringing in and opening me as a channel, opening my vibration, my frequency as a channel. But it's opening me to oneness, the oneness of the understanding that here now in this moment there is no separation. There's no separation between anything. They also talk about things like heaven on earth, and we look at heaven on earth, and many beings talk about heaven on earth, but heaven on earth is the understanding that all is one. There's no separation between the infinite dimensions and realities that are already expressing and are created, and all expressions of source. Um, they are happening in like on different frequencies, but heaven on earth is the understanding that all is one. And they knew this in Atlantis and Lemuria times, because what they would do is they were open channels and they were open like vessels. And what they were is that then they sort of like, when you start talking about things like symbolic sort of things like pyramids and things like that, a pyramid is a portal to me. It's like a doorway. When I talk about like keys of consciousness, I'm talking about this kind of sort of like understanding that a pyramid is like a portal, and it sort of like it opened up to many different levels of frequencies of consciousness and creation. And that, within these times of Atlantis, they would say they would go into crystal chambers. And then what they'd do is they would expand into this infinite space, and they would receive information and guidance from many different realities, many different guides, many different collectives, many different councils. And this time and this age is here now again, and we are starting to open up to this. And all of this comes from the main the main thing they keep talking about is shifting from the outer reality to the inner reality. Because when you shift to the inner reality, you can access source, and you also access start to open as this open channel so you can start to receive guidance, information, wisdom, because you're always aligned in this infinite now moment. And a lot of things are going on with this at the moment. There's no beginning, there's no end. You already are everything you ever want to be. You're it here now. We're not trying to get somewhere, we've always been it. And it's just, again, it's about shifting these levels of consciousness, or these states of consciousness here now, to bring things into union again. Like I said, there's many collectives, guides, councils, angels working with us, and they're all expressions of source, because source is the creation of all realities, all dimensions, all frequencies everywhere, and we're all part of the same source. And if we're all part of the same source, but then we're all interconnected, we're all aligned. And this again is like when you start talking about like the multi-dimensional self. What you're really talking about is source, and you're talking about the fact that we're these open channels, and that we can integrate many different sort of frequencies of consciousness and creation, and each and every one of us are opening as these channels. And this is the purpose of each being, is to become this open channel. And when we become this open channel, then we remember, but we also are able then to integrate these different frequencies, then to bring them into this reality, is to express them through our inner reality to the external reality, which will shift the planet, and it will shift creation with through us, work through us, as us, and for us, and it will work through us in this now moment. And if we still remain in that now moment, all things are available. Nothing is separate, and separation is the biggest sort of thing that sort of like dissolves consciousness, is when we feel we're separate. We feel that some things are happening to us when they're not. They're happening for us, and nothing is out there. It's all within us. And this is what they're talking about. A lot of things around this at the moment. I'm now seeing sacred flames within my mind's eye, and this is all about, flames are about like dissolving, like rebirth, regeneration. So it's all about bringing these sort of like this new energy, these new frequencies, these infinite frequencies, these infinite energies to this infinite age. I don't even want to say new, because they're not new. They want to say to me that they're not new. They've always been here. It's just that we're now shifting on a level of consciousness, that things are becoming sort of aligned with us again. So, like you're saying, like these Lemuria, like Atlantis, and all these other like frequencies that were available then, they've always been available. It's just that we have not been in a state of consciousness where we can sort of integrate them. And this is what's happening again now. So this massive shift, this massive cycle is coming back to this age and to this time. And this is why it's important that each and every one of us practice like shifting from outer to inner reality, because from inner reality is true liberation, true creation, freedom, everything that you're looking for, and it's not out there, it's within you. And this is why it's important that we take this time daily, well, not even daily, when we live in the now moment. What we start to really understand through awareness is, in the now moment, we're not practicing anything. Everything is always available. So at any moment we shift, we transform, we create, and we dissolve. We align, we unify, all in the now moment. And the now moment is that source frequency, that source vibration, that oneness that is always connected to us. And when we start to realize that, then we start to shift our reality, shift our own reality, but also shift our individual reality back once again, back into a collective reality. And all souls, all guys, all beings, all councils, all collectives are all they're all part of a collective, oneness vibration of source, and they all know that they're all connected and all is one, and that all of us are working in one vibration, as it's infinite collective energy, to always shift and align, and to integrate, but also unify with all realities, because that's what the purpose of all of us is this, to be in oneness with, to be these open channels and to be in union with source and union with all realities, all dimensions at once. And this is the whole purpose of creation, and of source. And this is what we're all shifting through back to in this age. So take time daily, and you can do this through many ways. Take a deep breath in, feel it in your center, hold the energy, feel that vibration, feel that warmth, feel that energy, feel the vibration, the frequency within your physical body as it shifts its vibration, shifts its frequency, to start to feel that vibration, that energy that's vibrating within you. And when you take a breath in, don't don't focus on your human body. Take a big deep breath in and feel the center of the energy within your frequency, not your physical body. It's your infinite vibration. It's your source center that you're feeling. You're feeling that energy as it vibrates, as it expands. And then you feel like you become this light, this energy. You're not a physical being. You're this infinite being of light and energy. And by taking this big deep breath in, you feel this, the energy expands, your consciousness expands, you open up, and then you start to receive and express, which is the natural cycle of all things. Receiving and expressing, we receive source energy, we integrate that energy, we integrate that wisdom, we integrate that consciousness, then we express it. So it's a natural cycle of receiving and expressing. Well, that's the insight for today. I just thought I'd do a little video because I haven't done one for many weeks because I've been concentrating on channeling this book. I will be sort of like, when I have done this book, I will be sort of posting it on my Facebook channel for people to have a look at and see what they think. All right, have a great day. Bye for now.